All right, coming up Sunday, we have our women's game of the week in the Missouri Valley Conference. We're going to head down to Evansville, Indiana, as the Aces get set to take on the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Our coverage gets underway at 1 Central Time. Laura Leonard and yours truly, Scott Warmann, will have the broadcast. And Robyn, Scherr, kind enough to join us, the head coach at Evansville. Coach, always appreciate you taking the time. We're all trying to stay warm, as we were just talking about before recording this. And I know you want to heat things up with your team with the matchup against the Salukis coming up on Sunday. I know when you first came into the league, one of the things you wanted to talk about was and bring into Evansville is tempo. You got a really young team. Tell us about how you like or don't like what the tempo has been night in and night out from your team.
Yeah, overall, we're playing generally with the pace that I would hope to play with. Possessions per game have been pretty high. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them have been turnovers. So we're still trying to clean that up. So that may be the part that I'm not, as happy with at times. And we've shown some growth in that area. But just a young team, and we have some days where our offensive output is really good, and I'm really excited about what I'm seeing. And then we have some games where maybe we just put a bigger focus on the defensive end, and then it shows up on the offensive end. So we're still working through those things with this young group. But overall, I think we have young players that can put the ball in the bucket, and we're going to keep growing there. And we've adjusted things throughout the season as we've seen what they're good at, what their talents are. And we're, and I'm trying to adjust offensively around them a bit at times and tweak things here and there. And so, that part of it is always really fun, that a little bit of the X's and O's and strategy part and working with the talent that we have. So, overall, we're heading in the right direction with our young group, and, just got to keep growing and get better, try to string, 40 minutes together.
One of those young players, Cameron Runner, 6 times she has been named Freshman of the Week, so has made a big impact on the league and with your team. When you brought her in, did you think that she would have this kind of impact this quickly for your team?
I was hoping she would. I truly felt that we had a very special player in Cameron when we signed her, when we recruited her. I think just how consistently and at this level, again, you hope for that, but was I expecting that? I don't know, maybe quite at this level. But she's just done a phenomenal job, and she's been, kind of thrust into that role. And when you're out there for 34 minutes a game, you get some opportunities to do those things. And, I think she's done a really good job with the opportunities that she's received.
Well, if you look up and down your roster, as you had mentioned, you're a young team. A good portion of your incoming freshmen are in-state players from the state of Indiana. And so just talk about how important that is in your rebuilding process there at Evansville.
Yeah, just, having players come here that are close to home, that are, in the recruiting process, they're seeing our vision and our understanding of what we're trying to build, and that, their families get a chance to see them play. And I think that's a really important part of our, building process as well. As we've got a lot of Midwest players on our roster right now, their families are at all of our games, and it's an opportunity. I think it's not just your players that are a part of your program. I think it's their families as well. And so, I love that part of it, that, we see their parents all the time, that they're invested in building as well, that they're supportive of what we're doing, that they're supporting their daughters. With our tough loss last weekend, right? I said to a bunch of the parents after the game, because I saw them, I said, hey, keep their heads up, right? Like, we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep improving. So, that part's been really fun. I do, love that aspect of what we're building right now.
Coach, what about as far as the health situation is for your team? I know you've dealt with some injuries here in the early stages, especially as we start off with conference play.
Yeah. Well, down to 8 players. We have 15 players on our roster, and we have 8 that are available for the game. So, that's never ideal. Injuries are part of it. But yes, we've got, a roster of 15. Now, I will say that, we started the season knowing that we would only have 14 available this season, but still, it's gotten down much lower than I certainly would have liked. But it is where where we're at, and all you can do is just keep plugging forward. And I still see a lot of the positives for our young players as they're just getting so many minutes. And even for me, coaching a really young team, now there's nothing to really think about for me as far as subbing and lineups, because all 8 are playing, right? And so, it just helps, I think, everyone get to settle into their roles, and helps these young players gain a ton of experience. They get to play through mistakes. It puts me in a position of like allowing them to play through some mistakes, and not having a quick hook or a quick sub or things like that. And so, maybe tough in a few moments. I'd like to be pressing more than we're able to with only 8. But overall, like, I just see a lot more positives in it.
I know coaches have said before, with what you're dealing with also affects how you try to do practice as well. Has that been the effect for you as well?
Absolutely. And last week was really tough because we were not back in school yet. And so that meant no practice players either. And so when you don't have, 10 healthy bodies, and, I even have injuries on my coaching staff right now. I mean, that's, it's just,
Imagine.
yeah, it was tough. We didn't do any full court 5-on-5 last week. And I thought in moments of the game that showed up. And so, thankfully we're back in school now. Our practice players are here on campus and helping us, and so we get a chance to we've had more realistic practices.
All right, Coach. Appreciate the time. And again, Coach Scherr's team will be taking on Southern Illinois. It's our Valley Women's Game of the Week coming up on Sunday, 1 Central Time on ESPN Plus.